Welcome back to the Global Business Report here on Horizon News. Let's talk banking in Nigeria. We'll start with UBA and then go to Access Bank PLC. UBA 2024 earnings really impressive here. Gross earnings 3.1 trillion. 53% growth, total assets 46% growth there, 30.4 trillion. Net interest income 1.5 trillion, 116% growth. Pre-tax profit 6% growth. Profit after tax 26% growth, 766.5 billion, highest ever. I think they declared offering a 3 naira dividend. Full year would be 5 naira. So very impressive there from the United Bank of Africa, the house that Tony Elumelu built. Let's get to Access Bank PLC, another tier 1 bank. They are issuing a commercial paper, 194 billion as part of their 400 billion naira program. Series 3, 180 day, 19.4%. Series 4, 270 day at 20.92. The subscription period, March 20th to the 25th. So I think that actually ends today. Minimum subscription, 5 million with additional units of 1,000 naira. Who better to talk banking in Nigeria than Arise Business Analyst Chika Mbonu? Good morning, sir. Thank you so much.
Hey, how are you today?
Fine, thank you. Great to see you. Great to see you. Shall we start with Access Bank? There's some concerns about liquidity. Yeah, again, raising a commercial paper. I wanted to get your thoughts on this.
The way I'm going to talk about this is, I try to go through the net.
Yes.
And then get some questions that some people or comments people have made.
Yeah.
And let me just try and address them one by one.
Certainly.
Banks don't issue commercial papers for short-term working capital. They have demand deposits. That's not correct.
Okay.
That's not correct. I mean, it's a simple typing into ChatGPT or Google and say, do banks issue commercial papers? Or the volume of some commercial paper issued by banks, let's say in US market or London market, or even European banks, you will get, a
lot of results.
Yeah. Billions of dollars in US, for example, issued, daily. In UK, there were reports of the monetary financial institutions, how much they're issuing. So it's a veritable allowed source of raising money by financial institutions.
Okay.
And they use it worldwide. Then, sometimes I say that all you have seen in your life is a bungalow. Does not mean that the 30-story building is not possible.
Right.
Then the Nigerian financial market, I'm sorry, my friends, is sometimes very still developing.
Right.
A lot of the products we have abroad are not happening here. But there's nothing wrong in banks issuing commercial papers.
Okay.
So I just want to correct that. It's not correct. So usually a bank like Access should be attracting fixed deposits even at 18%. Now, they need to understand that at the end of the day, somebody sang the song says, your problem na ego, that's not money.
Yeah.
The price of money is interest.
Right.
At the end of the day, a bank tries to look at the balance sheet and manage the balance sheet. Managing the balance sheet means the assets in your balance sheet, you maximize the return on them.
Yeah.
The liabilities that you have in your balance sheet, you reduce the cost in them to maximize your profitability.
Yeah.
That's how that happens. Even ultimately, the other thing is liquidity, both short-term liquidity and long-term liquidity.
Yeah.
Because you and me now, no matter how big a bank is, if you walk in there and say, give me my money, and they can't give it to you, the bank is gone.
Right.
So it's important for banks to manage their profitability and their liquidity. But let me say one or two things about the Nigerian financial macroeconomic system.
Of course.
Which has affected Nigerian banks. Remember that Nigeria has been buffeted with almost runaway inflation.
Yeah.
And the Central Bank of Nigeria had to chase it, was raising the interest rates.
Yeah.
Principally for the banks, they raised the cash reserve ratio, which is now 50%.
Yeah.
It means that every deposit that you bring in by a bank, you sterilize, whereas you're paying interest in the whole deposit, the only portion you're going to be playing around with is half of it.
Yeah.
So if you get deposit at 18%, as this person is suggesting, the effective cost of that deposit is what? 36%.
Wow.
Now, commercial paper they're getting is at what? About 20-21%.
Yeah.
So you can imagine, you can immediately know that somebody smart is doing something smart in Access Bank.
Yeah.
Moreover, the commercial paper that proceeds are coming in are not subject to the CRR. Calculations.
Yeah.
So somebody is smart there and saying, why will I go take deposits at 18%? Indeed, I'm aware that bank is retaining deposits because of the fact it's expensive.
Yeah.
And then effective cost 36%. Why can't I get it at 21%.
Yeah.
Look at the spread I'm making.
Yeah.
Somebody said, oh, why can't they go to the SLF? SLF means the standing lending facility window.
Yeah.
That one is at 27.5 now, plus 5, which is about at 2.5.
Right.
Again, more expensive than the commercial paper program. So at every corner that you look, you will find that the bank is playing smart.
Right.
Really playing smart. Access Bank is they're very creative people. You know, I mean, I will give it to them.
Yeah.
Even though Nigerian banking system also is very creative, we're very smart here. It's always a thing of joy when you land in Kenya or Uganda.
And you
see our banners, our banks, represent us very well.
Yeah.
Access Bank was the first one that pushed out the issue of alternative capital, alternative Taiwan capital.
Yeah.
Access Bank was the first one that did the green board in here. I won't be surprised that this route that we opened on the commercial paper program, seeing how it's going to reduce the cost of fund, a lot of banks are replicate this.
Yeah.
Somebody even suggested interbanks for 30 days. And said no Taiwan bank has issued commercial paper in the next 5 years. The other thing is also that even in the whole context of things, for a bank that has a total deposit of, let's say, 18 trillion, how much are they issuing? 400 billion. It's paltry. Less than 2% of the total liquidity deposit of the bank.
Yeah.
So it's not massive to alter the shape of the balance sheet. Principally, it will help them tide over short-term working capital needs, which is the main purpose of the commercial paper program.
Right.
So the way I look at it is that, look at people like Dangote, look at MTN.
Yeah.
They can get any loan they want from any banks.
Right.
So why did they go this commercial paper route?
Yeah.
It's because of the advantages that are on that route. And so it's not an odd thing for a bank to do this. And I always speak to financial analysts in Nigeria. They be a little more sensitive about the analysis and comments they make, especially when the comments are not based on full picture.
Full picture. On.
Yeah, because in Nigeria now, the macroeconomic issue for the banks is the fact that, like for Access Bank, for example, they have about more than 4 trillion sterilized in cash reserve ratio, earning nothing. A lot of the top 5 big banks, if you calculate it, I'm sure that between them, maybe about 20 trillion sterilized there,
that's a lot.
Earning nothing.
Yeah.
But for the greater good of the economy, we need to do it to tame inflation by central bank.
Yeah.
So there's absolutely no problem with Access Bank.
Putting that forward.
There's not all their ratios are intact, the liquidity ratios intact, all the prudential ratios are intact. The scheme was approved by CBN and FMDQ. So it's not. I just appeal to the analysts sometimes. On this our session, we'll just try to be very detailed and go to the last mile in our analysis. That's
why we invite you on. We're almost out of time, but real quick, your thoughts on UBA's numbers?
Fantastic. Very, very good result. Yeah. I've been consistent. I've had times that I quietly I told Tony that it's like a 747 on the runway. Yeah. It's still not taking off. You're supposed to be flying at 45,000 feet above sea level. Yeah. And you're still going at 27,000. Because if the UBA squeezes,
these numbers can be higher.
20 African countries, they are there. And they were there before most of these Nigerian banks, got there. Yeah. I'm sure that in East Africa, Uganda, all those places have been there for almost 16 years now. Yeah. All those countries. So he's been there. He went there before most, So if they squeeze all this, more figures will come out. I knew before when Africa, outside Nigeria, was contributing less than 10%.
And now
it's about 52%.
Right.
About 52%.
Yeah.
Look at the total asset. So UBA, they can do more.
Yeah.
I'm happy for the shareholders. Yeah. Full year 5 naira dividend. Yeah. But the 2 naira paid interim, 3 naira for this thing. So a lot of people are going to be smiling to the banks very soon. So UBA, Nigerian banks have done decently, and UBA is one of the ones that wants to land in any African country literally. You just be proud to be a Nigerian. Along with Access, along with GT.
And the others.
We are others,
Who better to talk Nigerian banks? All right, Business Analyst Chika Mbonu. Chika, thank you for joining us.
Thanks a lot.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.